What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you all are doing amazing and that you're staying safe and staying sane at the same time. I am excited about today's video because it's absolutely interesting, and in today's video I'm going to be speaking about things that I find attractive in men. Whoop 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 whoop. Rather, those things that men do that make me think, oh wow, that is amazing. So I'm just going to share with you these things, and I'd love to hear what your version of the story is. I'd love to hear you share with me some of the things that you really find attractive in men on the comment section down below, so that we can give these brothers of ours, you know, tips. First of all, I think the thing about what you find attractive with men, or rather of people of the opposite sex, is it's very relative. It's relative for every single person, and I think different people have different things, or rather different people have different needs that they usually look forward to meeting. So my first most attractive thing, point number one, is a man who loves God. And I just don't mean loving God, those ones for, oh my God, yeah, my name is so and so and I am God fearing, I love God. The only way you'll know if a man loves God or not is in his actions. Because even as we are told as Christians, you cannot claim to love God and, you know, do other things that are not in line with who God is. Rather, the reason why you're a Christian is because you should be like Christ. So if you claim to love God, then you should be able, when someone sees you, they should be able to see that there's something unique or something different with you. So for me, the thing about someone being God-fearing, it's not a matter of you telling me that, yes, I am God-fearing, I love God. No. I want to see it in your actions. I want to see it in the way you treat people. I want to see it in the way the kind of faith you have, you know. I want to see it in the way that you treat your family, the way that you treat your job. Because at the end of the day, you can't love God and not be transformed. I think there's something about loving God, there's something about fearing God that just makes your life completely different, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. So for me, that's my number one. Like, there's nothing I find more attractive than a man who's actually after God's heart. It's so beautiful. You know, a man who will take you, who will pray for you, a man who will literally just love you the way Christ loved the church. And you see, when it comes to even marriage, we are told that as women we should submit, but the thing that comes after that is that men should love their husbands, or rather, I mean, God forbid, men should love their wives as Christ loved the church. And that kind of love is sacrificial. That kind of love is out of this world. You know, can you imagine that while you were still a sinner, Christ died on the cross for you and I? So that's the kind of love we're talking about. So when you're talking about a man who fears God, it's a man who literally goes to God for you, a man who literally stands in the gap for you, a man who's, you know, who loves God so much to a point where he loves you and he places you first as well. The second thing I really find super duper attractive with men is intelligence. Oh my goodness. And so the thing about intelligence is it really sorts out even other areas of your life. Like, for example, a man who is intelligent is a man who's very good with conversations, because being intelligent means you can be able to pick up a conversation with literally anyone, flow with it, have good things to talk about, you know, have pointers, and you know your conversations are just top notch. So when you're intelligent and up to date with stuff, you're able to, you know, every time, like, I love it when, like, I keep joking with my partner and I always tell him the way, if I'm looking for an answer to something and then I ask him and he tells me he doesn't know, like, I'm usually like, how don't you know? Like, you're supposed to know. Like, you're supposed to be able to tell me this and that. You know, it's actually so funny because in my mind I think that I find him so smart to a point where when I ask him a question and he doesn't know about an answer for it, I get shocked. So that's one thing that I really find so attractive. A man who's intelligent, a man who literally knows his stuff, you know, whether it's in his career, whether it's in his, you know, current affairs, whether it's in things happening in the world. A man who can be able to tell you, you know, this and this happened here, and this is what I think about it, or even this, we had this problem at work and this is a way in which I think we can solve it. Or if you're doing business together, this are some of the ideas that I thought about, have done research, and I think this would work and this wouldn't work. Sealed the jackpot. Signed the check, taken it to the bank and we banked it. Like, that's it. A man who's intelligent is, that's quite the jackpot. Because I feel like also sometimes it's not always, oh babe, I love you, oh honey, you mean the world to me. But you need to have constructive conversations that can make you guys better people, conversations that can make you, like, broaden your perspective about life and different issues like that. The other thing that I really find attractive in a man is a man who smells good. Smells good. Oh my goodness. Like, do I have to explain that further? Do I have to lazima nifafanue ama mmelewa hiyo maneno? There's something about a man who smells good that's just, it's amazing. And I think this is not just for men alone. I think it's also for women. I mean, smelling good, being neat, well groomed. When you walk into a space, you command the space, not just because of what you say, but also the way you look, the way you smell. Like, you keep turning heads just because of that good smell. It's really important. I think it's important for a man to smell good because it also boosts his confidence in some way. In as much as he looks good on the outward appearance, smelling good is a great way to boost your mood. It helps you boost your confidence, and even when you're walking into your room, you're confident that, first of all, you're not smelling sweat. Second of all, you look it gives this aura of I know my stuff. I got my stuff together, and this is who I am. So please, that is very important. Smelling good is really, 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 really important. The other thing that I find really attractive in men is men who have great relationships with their moms. And I think this may sound cliche because you've had it over and over again, but for me, I think it's very important because a mom to a man is like the most important female figure in his life. So how he treats his mother, you can be sure that it's not far off with how he'll treat you. So if he's a jerk with his mom, if he doesn't care about her, if he doesn't check up on her, if he talks negatively about her, if he talks negatively to her, then you can be sure that even if it's not started happening now, in a few years, you can expect the same behavior to you. Because what makes you think that if he can't respect his mom, if he can't honor his mom, if he can't support his mom, if he can't be there for his mom, that he'll be there for you? Remember that this is someone who gave birth to this person. This is someone who gave birth to your partner. So if your partner can't, or rather if that man cannot honor them, if that man cannot support the mom, if that man cannot even respect him, whether it's happening face to face or even when in your conversations, then that's a serious red flag. Because as I always say, don't expect too much. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, so don't expect too much more from him to you than what he gives to his mom. So it's very important. And also the other thing about these things is it's not a matter of saying, it's a matter of doing. I can't come and say I respect my dad so much or I respect my mom so much, and yet my actions speak louder than my words. So it's fine, saying is amazing, confessing these things is great, and it's beautiful, and you say you love your mom and you would die for her. But when we come to when the rubber meets the road, exactly how do you treat your mom? Exactly how do you speak to her when you're mad at her? Exactly how do you treat her when she's wronged you? Exactly how do you treat her when you do not agree with what she's saying? Because high chances are, in that particular instance, that's when we'll know your true colors. So a man who really respects his mom, a man who loves his mom, a man who has great healthy boundaries with his mom is such an attractive trait. The other thing, I think I brought it up as I was speaking about mom, is boundaries. A man who can set healthy boundaries with people around his life. To be honest, guys, that is such an attractive quality, because you find areas or cases whereby men lack the, I don't want to say, let's call it the emotional intelligence to be able to set boundaries that are healthy with their female friends, with their colleagues, with their male friends, with their family as well. And you find so many relationships go down the drain because of that, because of people literally crossing these boundaries, and they make you feel as if you're not respected, they make you feel as if you're not good enough, they make you feel as if you're not a priority. So I think for me, a man who can be able to set boundaries with his relationships in his life is so important, because that way this man will be able to place you as the number one priority. This way this man will be able to respect you. This way you'll never have to question the place you have in his life. And I think for me that's very, very, very key. I mean, because I don't want to be in a relationship with a man whereby I'm always trying to ask him, so who are we? What are we? What are we doing? Because ain't nobody got time for that. That's for when you were younger and you had nothing better to do with your life. But right now, the older you grow, the more you realize stability is important. The more you realize knowing your place in someone's life, not just your man's, even your friends, even your family. It's very important to know your place so that you can act right. You know, that we are out here, we're giving 100% to people who are giving us 5%. And we end up feeling as if we are being shortchanged, because we are. So it's really important to know your place in even your man's life. And he has to play his part in ensuring that you know your role, or rather you know your part in creating healthy boundaries and ensuring that, you know what, I don't have to question like my place in his life at any one particular time. The other thing is a man who is in touch with his emotions. Guys. And by this I mean, you don't have to play all macho with me. Out there at work, you're so macho, and you can't even crack, you can't even break. You're always so strong, and I cannot even. I think what I'm trying to say is a man needs to be vulnerable, because it's in vulnerability that friendships, that relationships, that love is strengthened. And even if it's your girlfriend, if you have this friend who you're always the one who's going to tell them about your stuff, you're always the one who's opening up, and they never do any of that, you'll get to a point and you'll feel like you are, you're giving in too much and you're not receiving enough. So I think for me, even having a man who's in touch with his emotions, a man who's able to control his anger when he's angry, it doesn't mean that he won't get angry. He will, because he's human as you are. But a man who can be able to control his emotions, even when he's absolutely angry with you, when he's absolutely disappointed, when he's going through a rough time at work, when he's lost a job, when he's lost, his business, he's lost money in his business, how does he act in that particular time? A man who's able to tell you, babe, today is a bad day for me. I am feeling so broken. I am feeling as if I am, a man who can come and tell you the truth as it is and not try and sugarcoat anything. However, in as much as they're going through this rut, or rather they're going through this really difficult moment, they are still able to keep their head strong. They're still able to keep themselves together. Even when they feel like they're losing it, that emotional intelligence is great, because it speaks about how you manage stress. It speaks about how you manage disappointment. It speaks about how you control your anger. So for me, a man with high EQ is absolutely important. In as much as high IQ is like top notch, even high EQ cannot be substituted for anything. You need a man who will be able to, hold it down together for the family when things are not going well. You need a man who will be able to tell you the truth about exactly how he's feeling, because that way you'll be able to work together as a team. Because at the end of the day, for me, partnership is key. It's not about I don't even want to say equality. It's more of partnerships, knowing that you're doing life with someone and nobody is nobody's stepping on anyone's toes in this thing. So that I also find really attractive with men, with a man, is a man who really takes care of himself, even physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Rather, a man who's very intentional about wellness. Yeah. So wellness, the whole spectrum. If it's physically, does he eat right? Does he take care of himself? Does he work out? Does he, if he knows that something is not good for him, is he avoiding that? And does he take care of himself? Does he make sure he's, reading so that he can stay up to date? Does he make sure he's taking care of his thoughts, the negative thought patterns that he's gone through? If he's gone through any trauma when he was younger, is he trying to right those wrongs? Is he trying to become more stable mentally? And then also spiritually, is this a person who really reads the word of God? Is this a person who is intentional about going to church? Is this a person who's intentional about building the relationship with God? There's so much beauty in a man who is intentional about wellness. A man who will literally, take care of himself. If he sees that something is not working for him, if he sees there's a relationship or there's a friendship that is not beneficial to him, he's able to say no, and he knows when to say no. I think that's very, very attractive. And I think for me, it's a work in progress. I think everyone has potential to get to this point. I think at the end of the day, sorry, I've said so many things, but at the end of the day, I believe in progress over perfection, because you can never find your perfect man. You can never find that, the ideal man who ticks all boxes, who has only pros and they don't have no con. It's impossible, because at the end of the day we are all human beings, and human is to error. So it's about learning, it's about finding that person who you're willing to learn with, who you're willing to grow with in this journey of life. That person who is willing to, you know, fine, I was wrong, and yeah, I am willing to change. Speaking of which, before I forget, a man who apologizes is very attractive, because you find most times, as you were saying about these macho men who, you know, want to show that they are men in the relationship, men in the house, to a point whereby even when they wrong you, they can't be able to come and say they're sorry. They can't be able to right their wrongs because their ego is too up here for them to even come down to your level. So for me, a man who is in touch, I mean, a man who can be able to come down and apologize when they're wrong, a man who can be able to acknowledge their mistakes and be willing to change, that's gold. That's solid gold out there, because not many people are like that. So when you find that, you treasure that. So yeah, at the end of the day, as I was saying, it's progress over perfection. Find someone who's willing to learn with you, someone who's willing to become a better person every single day, and someone who's choosing you. Because at the end of the day, if someone does not choose you, in as much as they tick all those boxes, honey, it's not going to work. Find someone who literally chooses you every single day, despite the hardships, despite the difficult moments, despite the struggles. Find someone who's constantly choosing you. I think for me, that's the most beautiful thing ever. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm super happy that you set aside time to watch this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you know, like, you can share with me some of the things that you think are so attractive in men, and let's keep growing, let's keep sharing, let's keep enlightening each other and living unapologetically, living a life with no regrets. And don't forget to live, love and laugh. Till next time, goodbye.